Hello everyone, my name is Ananda Aisha. Today I'm going to present a critical linguistic study titled Pragmatic and Presupposition by Gerald G. Katz and D. Terence Langedon, published in the journal Language in 1976. This paper directly addresses how ambiguity in meaning is influenced by context, especially through the lens of presupposition in language. One of the major debates in the field of semantic and pragmatic is whether presupposition, the background assumption a sentence carries, is determined by the sentence itself or by the context in which it is used. Many linguists, especially Cartoon 1973, argue that context plays a key role. He claimed that in ambiguous structure, especially conditional or complex sentence, context determines whether or not a presupposition survives. But Katz and Langedon disagree with this view. They argue that what appears to be context-driven ambiguity is actually semantic in nature and can be explained purely through grammatical rules. Their paper aimed to disprove the necessity of contextual presupposition by showing that ambiguity in meaning can be handled without involving context at all. The ambiguity sentence like if Jack has children, then all of Jack's children are bald. In this sentence, there is a potential presupposition. The second clause, Jack's children are bald, seems to presuppose that Jack has children, but because it appears in a conditional clause, the presupposition seems to be disappear, leading to semantic ambiguity. Distinguish two important concepts. First, semantic presupposition determined by sentence structure internal to grammar. Second, contextual presupposition depend on the belief or shared knowledge of speaker. The main theory they define is what semantic presupposition is sufficient to explain how meaning works even in ambiguous context. They argue that what some scholars interpret as context-based ambiguity is actually a result of how grammar projects meaning, especially in complex sentences like conditional, embedded clauses, and disjunction. Main finding especially relate to ambiguity and context. First, ambiguity in presupposition can be explained formally, not contextually. For example, if Jack has children, then all of Jack's children are bald. Although the second clause normally presupposes that Jack has children, the presupposition does not survive when it appears in the conditional structure. Filtering effects seem ambiguous, but Katz and Langedon explain it using grammar, not context, through their HPWR rule. Context is not necessary to explain presupposition failure. They criticize Cartoon example. If Nixon appoint G. Edgar Hoover to the cabinet, he will regret having appointment a homosexual. Cartoon claimed that this only avoid presupposition if everyone in the context knows Hoover is homosexual. But Katz and Langedon say that's not the context, that's how speakers use language economically. Speakers often speak elliptically, leaving some information unsaid, but that doesn't change the grammatical structure of the sentence. They introduce a pragmatic function to explain how utterance meaning can differ from grammatical meaning, but they emphasize that this is a matter of performance, not part of grammar itself. What looks like ambiguity caused by context is actually semantic precision. According to their finding, ambiguities only arise if we confuse what's grammatical with what's conversational. If we separate sentence meaning from speaker intention, the ambiguity disappears. So that's all for my presentation. This research helped us to see the language can be clear and logical even when it seems confused at first. Thank you for your attention.